I used to think my rock bottom was a damp basement and punching drunks for rent. Turns out, rock bottom can knock from below. And it has a name, Gray. I've learned a few rules since I walked away from a pack. 1. Concrete sleeps cold, no matter how many blankets you steal. 2. Humans never notice a bouncer with quick hands until their teeth rattle. 3. The nose lies when it misses a bond. You can't trust it to tell you what you want versus what you're wired to want. Out, I tell the stumbling guy who smells like a distillery's grave. He's built like a fridge and swears like he's practicing for a choir. He swings. I don't. I step in, catch his wrist, roll my shoulder, and show him the floor the way a teacher shows a student a chalkboard. The thud runs up through my boots, through the rot-soft wood, into the wet bone of this building. Gentle Nick, old man Vito yells from behind the bar, all neon and nicotine. We don't have the insurance for lawsuits. This was delicate, I say, shaking the fridge's wrist free and nudging him toward the alley door with my knee. I used my indoor voice. The regulars laugh, the kind of laugh that only happens when nothing good's happening anywhere else. I aim the big guy at the metal door, open it, and the March cold slaps him sober. He goes out on a cuss and a wobble. I shut the door, shoulder it until the warped frame catches, and breathe through the lingering stink of overproof spirits and mold. Basement living has a way of teaching gratitude. I'm grateful the rats keep to their schedule. I'm grateful the boiler wheezes like a dying dragon because it means it's alive. I'm grateful nobody down here knows the word omega, and if they do, they think it's a watch. I'm less grateful when the door at the top of the back stairs opens without a knock. The scent hits first. Clean winter air, cedar, the metallic bite of authority. My instincts lift their heads like dogs hearing a whistle. I push them down with both palms, metaphorically speaking. I keep wiping the counter. I keep breathing. Boot falls on the stairs. Even, unhurried. The kind that don't need to hurry because everything will wait for them. Basement suits you, a voice says, low and calm and built to be obeyed. I don't look up. I pick at a crack in the varnish. We're running a special on minding your own business. I'm not here for a drink. Tragic. I finally glance up. He's taller than memory, or maybe authority has a way of adding inches. Dark wool coat, knife straight line of shoulders, rain glittering off the collar like he's brought the weather with him. Gray. New alpha of the pack, I left bleeding and unblessed, with my pride in one hand and a leash I refused in the other. His eyes find me like a hook finds fabric. I feel the pull. My jaw tightens. Hi, I say. You lost? The expensive problems are 2 blocks north. He comes closer, letting the scent field do what it does. Press at the edges of my skin, test for a door I no longer have. My pulse tries to match his. I make it trip. No synchronization today. Nick, he says, and my name sounds like an order. You've been ignoring your phone. I've been ignoring most things. It's a hobby. I check my knuckles for cuts. State your business and try not to fog up the room with whatever that is. Vito peeks, recognizes trouble dressed in money, and chooses survival. The jukebox hiccups into silence as he pulls the cord. Stools scrape. The room thins without looking like it's running. People who live near danger learn to move like water. Gray stops on the customer side of the counter. You were the best in the pack, he says, like reciting a record. But not mine. Cold settles under my ribs. There it is. His neat little thesis statement stapled to my old file. And I won't be, I say. Don't you dare sniff me out of habit. Something in his mouth almost smiles. It's not friendly. You left. Correct. I tap the counter twice, a nervous tell I quit years ago, but apparently it didn't quit me. And you replaced what I was with your favorite word. Order. So congratulations. Order yourself a different omega. His gaze flicks, cataloging me like I'm evidence. The new scars on my knuckles, the stale coffee breath, the damp curl at the end of my hair I didn't bother to cut. The part of me that misses ritual bristles at being seen. The part of me that stays alive says keep talking. Talking is misdirection. They're dying, he says. No preamble. The words land heavy, like tools dropped in a toolbox. One by one. Clean work. Somebody who knows how we move. The room shrinks. Old laughter echoes and shuts up. I swallow air that smells like lemon cleaner in fear. News says muggings, he adds. We both know better. News says a lot of things, I say, but my voice has sand in it now. A face flashes. Kalen's crooked grin, hands that could break a lock or a jaw, first a volunteer, last asleep. Dead. I hadn't let myself categorize it. Just filed it under world's way of punishing hope. Amber came here first, Gray continues. You weren't home. Basement's sweet, actually, I say, because sarcasm is a flashlight in dark water. What do you want? His eyes don't flinch. You know how predators hunt traitors. The old muscle memory sits up like a soldier at roll call. Shadows. Choke points. Timing your strike between heartbeats. My throat tastes like copper. I look at his hands so I don't look at his throat. At the slow, even proof he's an alpha who sleeps. I don't. You want me to consult? I ask. Leave a review? Would not recommend. 2 stars, too much blood. I want you to come back. The basement gets smaller than a coffin. The boiler wheezes a laugh and goes quiet. Like even it knows to listen. No, I say. That's pride, he says. That's survival. I lean in. Teeth, just a little, both meanings. Choose a different tool, Gray. You weren't a tool. He says it like a fact, and it stings more than any insult. You were a shield. And shields get dented and tossed, I say. Ask the armory. He studies me. Patience sits on him like a second coat. We talk elsewhere, he decides. Your landlord doesn't deserve bullet holes. Vito barks a laugh from the shadow. I heard that. I grab my jacket from the hook. The fabric is tired. So am I. Gray steps back to give me space, and that courtesy is its own brand of pressure. The door at the top of the stairs waits like a verdict. I pause with my hand on the rail. Ground rules, I say. You don't touch me unless I say so. You don't breathe down my neck like a wolf at a window. And you don't call me yours. He nods once. Understood. I don't trust the word on his tongue, but I trust what's killing my old life to keep killing if I do nothing. So I climb. The night hits clean and cold. City lights smear the puddles into galaxies. Behind me, the basement door thumps shut, and something in my chest unlocks the way a lockpick does. Soft, guilty, inevitable. Lead the way, I tell him, and my instincts, a pack I never asked for, fall into step despite me. The city wears night like a half-buttoned coat, sloppy, careless, with too much showing. Streetlights flicker against puddles, alleys smell of wet cardboard and fried grease, and somewhere a train screams like it owes someone money. It's the kind of hour when only predators, debts and fools roam. Lucky me, I'm 2 out of 3. I cut through a side alley, collar high, boots splashing. The boiler in Vito's basement is still rattling in my ears, and Gray's words stick like glass under my skin. They're dying. One by one. Somebody who knows how we move. I tell myself I don't care. I left. Not my circus, not my pack. Except, memory doesn't listen to reason. It spits out faces whether I ask or not. Kalen, Mira. Even the kid with the lazy eye who laughed like he invented the sound. Gone. Nick. A voice sings from the shadows. I don't flinch, that would be polite. I just angle my head. Let my eyes adjust. She steps out, grin wide as a cut, braid swinging like a rope. Amber. Beta strategist. Genius, lunatic, my only friend left who hasn't either betrayed me, or ended up 6 feet under. She wears a surplus army jacket 3 sizes too big and combat boots that could kick a tank into submission. You stalking me now? I ask. Lighting a cigarette I don't need. I charge extra for fans. You wish. She saunters closer, hands in pockets. Word travels fast. You had a visitor tonight. Yeah. He's taller than memory and smells like headaches. Guess who? Her grin fades. Gray. Gold star. She looks me over the way medics look at a wound, calculating what they can cut away before it festers. Then you already know. Know what? I blow smoke sideways, pretend it's interest and not dread. They're picking us off, she says flatly. No sugar, no theatrics. Amber doesn't do those. One by one, clean, precise. This isn't random. I shrug, but the ash trembles off my cigarette too soon. People die every day. Packs break. Maybe the universe finally noticed our tab. You don't believe that? She steps closer, her scent sharper than the city. Iron, ozone, defiance. Nick, you're the only one who knows how traitor hunters work. You trained under Rufus. You've seen the methods. Without you, we're blind. My chest tightens like a vice. Rufus. The old alpha with secrets like traps under leaves. I see his hands teaching me maps, his voice saying cut deep, cut first. I hated him for it. I miss him anyway. I flick the cigarette into a puddle. So what, you want me to run back wagging my tail, pretend the last 2 years didn't happen? Amber's smile is sharp, not kind. I want you alive. And I want the rest of us alive too. Pride doesn't bury bodies, Nick. It just makes better headstones. I laugh, because if I don't, it'll turn into something worse. You rehearsed that one? Yeah. In the mirror. Looked hot as hell too. Insane. Genius, she corrects. Her eyes catch mine, bright and relentless. Beneath the sarcasm, the plea is real. And I hate her for putting it there because I can't look away. You're the only one who can stop this, she says quietly now. Without you, we're finished. The words land like chains. My instincts stir, tails wagging at ghosts. I want to slam the door. I want to tell her she's wrong. But my teeth grind instead. I think of Gray's eyes, calm as coffins. Of Kalen's laugh. Of Rufus's maps. My choice, but not really. Damn it, I mutter. Fine, I'll help. But on my terms. Amber exhales, like she just won a war. Then, because she's Amber, she smirks. Knew you couldn't resist me. I shove her shoulder. If we die, I'm blaming you. Deal. We walk together toward the bleeding city. My boots are heavy. My chest heavier. The night hums, waiting. The warehouse smells like copper and silence. The kind that doesn't belong in a city this loud. My boots crunch over broken glass. Each shard glittering in the slice of moonlight through a busted window. The blood trail's already dried, dark as oil, leading between crates and into the shadows. Kalen. That name won't leave me alone. His laugh, his hands. Now just stains on cement. Gray's presence presses in from behind, steady and unshakable. His coat barely brushes the dust, his footsteps quiet, as if even the floorboards think twice before complaining. Stay sharp, he says. I'd tell you the same, I mutter. But sharp's the only thing I've got left. We move deeper. The air carries the stink of old wood, rust, and something newer. Gunpowder. Whoever did this left in a hurry but not before finishing the job. The body's gone, but the pattern of blood says enough. Throat cut, efficient. No struggle after the first blow. A traitor's signature. My hands ball into fists. Memories bite. Walking away from the pack had been like sawing off my own arm. Messy, painful, necessary. Rufus had called me a coward. The others looked at me like a stranger. I'd chosen exile over obedience, survival over loyalty. And Gray, new alpha, new order. He hadn't stopped me. He'd let me go without a word. Now here we are, side by side among ghosts. You're remembering, Gray says, too perceptive for my comfort. Mind your own, I snap. A sound interrupts. The soft scrape of a boot where none should be. I freeze. He hears it too. Our eyes meet for a fraction of a second. No words. We just move. Shadows spill men with knives and guns. Mercenaries. Not wolves. Paid muscle with enough scent blocker to fool a nose, but not enough to hide intent. The first swings a pipe. I duck, drive my fist into his ribs, feel bone give. He wheezes, drops the pipe, and I kick it away. Another lunges from my left, blade catching moonlight. Before I can pivot, Gray is there, arms snapping the man's wrist, knee slamming his chest. The attacker crumples. And damn it, our movements mesh. I don't have to. When Gray pivots right, I slide left, catching the blind spot. When he drives a mercenary into a crate, I'm already intercepting the one aiming for his back. My elbow cracks against a jaw, his punch lands the same heartbeat, and it feels like old rhythm, like we never stopped. I hate it. My body remembers him better than my mind does. Behind you. He barks. I spin before the words finish, catching the next strike, twisting the man's arm until the blade clatters. My teeth bare, a snarl breaking free. The mercenary stares at me like I'm the monster here. Maybe he's right. The fight ends fast. Too fast. Paid muscle always runs when their paycheck isn't worth the bruises. The last two scatter into the night, leaving echoes and blood. I'm breathing hard, adrenaline flooding. But Gray looks like he just adjusted his tie. His coat's dusty, knuckles raw, but his breathing is steady. Infuriating. You still fight like one of us, he says. I fight like me, I snap. My chest heaves. The taste of iron clings to my tongue. He studies me, eyes sharp in the gloom. You hate that it works. I laugh, bitter. "Congratulations, detective. Do you want a medal or my resignation letter?" His expression doesn't change, but there's something almost human, flickering under the surface. He steps closer, close enough that the cedar steel of his scent stirs instincts I'd nailed shut. My muscles twitch, traitorous, like they want to fall into sync. I push back, words like claws, "Don't mistake this for trust. It's muscle memory, nothing more." Gray tilts his head, unreadable. "Muscle memory keeps you alive. Or gets you killed when you forget the reason you left," I hiss. The warehouse breathes with us. Dust settling, blood drying, silence returning. My hands shake, not from fear, but from fury at myself. Fury at how easily my body betrayed me. Moving with him like the pack was still mine, like he was still my alpha. I grab a rag from a crate, wipe blood off my knuckles. "Next time, keep your distance." He doesn't move. "Next time, we survive because we don't." I turn away before my teeth grind to powder. The night outside waits, cold and merciless. And still, my instincts trail him like a shadow I can't cut loose. Rufus's apartment hasn't changed in years, except it has. Dust thick enough to choke, books leaning like tired soldiers, maps curling at the edges on walls stained with time. The air smells of gun oil, paper, and wolf musk old enough to feel ancestral. Weapons hang beside history, crossbows near treaties, blades beside photographs. It's the museum of a life spent leading, and of someone too stubborn to leave it behind. The man himself sits in a battered armchair, shoulders hunched but eyes like razors. Rufus doesn't need height anymore. Authority is carved into his bones. His voice cuts through the dim the way it always did. "You brought him..." Not a question. Gray doesn't bow, doesn't smile. We need his insight. I laugh, sharp and joyless. "Correction. You need someone to do the dirty work while you stand there looking polished." Rufus's gaze shifts to me, steady, heavy. "Still running your mouth, Nick. I wondered if exile would teach you silence." "Turns out silence doesn't suit me," I say, leaning against a stack of books. The wood creaks under my weight, but I don't move. I make noise. That's what keeps me alive. The old alpha studies me, and something flickers in his eyes. Approval or pity, hard to tell. "Good. You'll need noise. They're not just hunting the pack boy, they're hunting you." The words land like a blade slipped between ribs. I force my face blank, but my lungs forget how to breathe for a moment. "Me?" I scoff. "Don't flatter me. I'm not worth the ammunition." Rufus leans forward, every line of his frame creaking like old wood. "You know better. You walked away, but you carry secrets. The kind that make enemies greedy. And Gray knows it, even if he won't admit it." Gray's jaw flexes, a tick he probably thinks is invisible. "We're not here for riddles, Rufus. Just tell us what you know." The old man chuckles, a rasp like dry leaves. Impatient as ever. "You wear the title, Gray, but wearing isn't being. Leadership's more than standing tall." I smirk. "You hear that? Even he thinks you're just cosplaying alpha." Gray's eyes cut to me, sharp enough to slice. "You talk too much." I grin wider, baring teeth. "You're the head now, right? Get used to it. My mouth doesn't close on command. Consider it your training exercise." Rufus lets the silence stretch, eyes flicking between us like he's watching a chessboard he set in motion years ago. Finally he says, "You two fight like cubs in snow. The enemy won't care who's alpha, who's omega. They'll only care how fast you bleed." The room settles into uneasy quiet. Shadows twitch across maps, blades, memories. My skin crawls with the weight of it. His warning, Gray's presence, my own ghosts whispering from the walls. I shove my hands into my pockets and step back toward the door. If they want me, fine. They can stand in line. Rufus doesn't laugh this time. He just watches me like he's counting the cracks in my armor. "You think leaving saved you. But leaving just painted a target you can't scrape off." The words chase me as I turn, as Gray falls into step behind me. The air outside tastes like rust and rain. Cleaner than inside but not lighter. I glance at Gray. He says nothing, but I see the calculation in his eyes. "Don't," I tell him. "Whatever lecture you've got brewing, keep it. My head's crowded enough." He says nothing still. But the silence between us is louder than a shout. The factory is a carcass of iron and dust. Rust eats the beams like rot through bone. And broken windows cut the night with jagged teeth. Every sound echoes too loudly, as if the place remembers machines and misses them. Gray moves ahead with his usual measured stride, flashlight cutting arcs across the gloom. I trail a few paces behind, fingers flexing, instincts tight as a drawn bowstring. Remind me, I mutter. Why are we poking around in a death trap instead of, say, anywhere else? Because whoever's targeting us isn't hiding in coffee shops, Gray says without looking back. I snort. Shows what you know. Assassins need lattes too. The beam sweeps over a spray of dried blood on the concrete. Not fresh, but not old either. My gut twists. This is where one of ours fell. Gray crouches, examining the spatter like it's a puzzle. Quick kill. Throat or heart. Efficient. I look away, jaw tight. Yeah. Sounds familiar. Before he can answer, the hair on my arms rises. The air shifts, too still, too heavy. Then I catch it, the faint scrape of boots. Too many boots. Company, I whisper. The first shot cracks from the shadows, ricocheting off metal. We dive opposite ways. Cover instinctual. Shapes flood from behind crates. Mercenaries, maybe a dozen, armed with pipes, blades, cheap pistols. I roll behind a rusted machine, breath sharp. Gray signals without words, 2 fingers slicing the air, and my body obeys before my brain approves. I dart left as he moves right, a flanking maneuver we perfected years ago. The first merc charges me, swinging a crowbar. I step in, deflect, elbow his throat, sweep his legs. He's down before he registers pain. Another rushes, knife glinting. I catch his wrist, twist hard, blade clatters to the floor. A knee to his ribs folds him. Across the floor, Gray dismantles 2 at once, smooth, lethal, each move precise. And damn it, our rhythm sinks. When he drops one, I'm already intercepting the next. When I slam a merc into a crate, he finishes the one aiming at me. It's not thought. It's memory. Adrenaline surges. My body remembers him, remembers us. My mind screams betrayal, but my fists don't listen. Duck. He shouts. I drop instinctively. A pipe whistles over my head, and Gray's boot sends the attacker sprawling. I roll back up, fist catching another merc's jaw. The crack echoes like gunfire. One by one they fall, groaning, cursing, retreating. The last 3 glance at each other, then bolt into the shadows, vanishing into the night. Silence rushes in, heavy and buzzing. I lean against a beam, chest heaving, sweat mixing with grime. My knuckles sting, blood, mine and theirs, painting skin. Gray straightens, dusts his coat like this was practice, not survival. You're still breathing too calmly, I snap. His eyes meet mine, calm steel in the flickering dark. You're damn good when you're not arguing. My laugh is sharp, bitter. And you're damn irritating when you breathe. Something flickers at the corner of his mouth. Almost a smile, almost. He steps closer, slow and deliberate. You can hate me all you want, but you can't deny what happens when we fight together. I bare my teeth, half snarl, half grin. Don't flatter yourself. It's just muscle memory. Muscle memory saves lives, he says quietly. Muscle memory also gets you killed if you forget why you left. My chest tightens, heat and fury battling something softer I refuse to name. The factory groans as if agreeing. Metal shifting in the wind. Shadows loom like spectators. My pulse won't calm, not from fear but from the way my instincts betrayed me again, falling into step with him as if the pack was still mine, as if he was still my alpha. I shove off the beam, wiping blood from my knuckles. Next time, don't expect me to catch your rhythm. He doesn't flinch. Next time, don't expect me to let you fall. The silence after hangs heavier than the fight. We leave the factory together, but the ghosts follow me out. The safe house is anything but safe, just another abandoned squat with peeling paint and pipes older than sin. But it has 4 walls, a lock, and miracle of miracles, a working shower. After the fight, that's enough to feel like luxury. I peel off my jacket, muscles screaming from the factory brawl. Blood stains the sleeves, some mine, most not. My knuckles throb with every heartbeat. The mirror above the sink is cracked, but it still shows me. Hollow eyes, hair plastered with sweat, a face carved by exhaustion. The pipes groan when I twist the handle, coughing out water that starts brown before it runs clear. Steam gathers quick, filling the small space with mist. I step in, hiss as heat stings cuts I didn't know I had, then let the spray beat down on me. It drums against my shoulders, runs in red rivulets down the drain. For the first time all night, my lungs loosen. I close my eyes. The noise of water almost drowns the other noise, boots shifting on tile, steady breathing that isn't mine. Really? I say without looking. Ever heard of privacy? Privacy gets you killed, Gray answers, voice low. I turn my head just enough to glare through the curtain of steam. He leans against the wall, arms folded, coat finally off. Underneath, his shirt clings to muscle and blood. His calm is infuriating. You guarding me or staring? I ask, sharp enough to cut. His mouth twitches, not quite a smile. Both? I snort, lean back under the spray. The heat loosens knots in my shoulders, makes me forget for one dangerous second that he's there. My body sags, instincts easing. The fight, the blood, the ghosts, they slide away with the water. And then I feel it, his presence pressing closer. A shift in the air, cedar and iron winding through the steam. My pulse betrays me, picking up. I should shove him back. I should tell him to choke on his own authority. Instead I tilt my head, let the water cascade over my throat, and breathe. When I open my eyes, he's a step away. Our faces nearly mirror close, steam beating on his lashes. His gaze holds mine, steady, magnetic. For a heartbeat, I don't hate it. For a heartbeat, I want... Boots clatter outside. Boys. Amber's voice sings, cheerful as a gunshot. If you're done being broody, some of us would like hot water before sunrise. I jolt back like the spray turned ice. Gray steps away too, smooth, no hurry. Like the moment wasn't a moment at all. Your timing sucks, Amber, I shout. Her laugh echoes down the hall. You're welcome. The water suddenly feels heavier, hotter. I press my palms to the wall, head hanging. My body still buzzes with the near touch, instincts humming like I let them off the leash. I hate it. I hate that I let go, even for a second. When I finally step out, Gray is waiting, silent, towel in hand. Our eyes meet, and the silence between us says too much. I snatch the towel, brushing past him. Don't read into it. Steam makes people stupid. Maybe, he says, quiet. I don't look back. Because if I do, I'll see that it wasn't just the steam. The campfire is a metal barrel with holes punched in the side, flames, licking high enough to keep the night from swallowing us whole. The safe house didn't last, too many eyes on it. So we ended up here, in the skeletal yard behind a shuttered repair shop. Amber pokes at the fire with a bent rebar, her braids swinging as she tilts her head at Gray. So, fearless leader, she says, voice sing-song, do you actually sleep? Or do you just stand in front of mirrors and practice that serious face? Gray doesn't blink. Sleep wastes time. Amber grins like she scored a point. Translation. He snores like a chainsaw. I laugh under my breath, tearing into a piece of stale bread. That tracks. Gray's eyes flick toward me, unamused. You both talk too much? Amber leans closer to him, elbows on her knees, grin sharp as a blade. And you don't talk enough. Dangerous combo. People who stay quiet usually hide something. I watch him, waiting for a crack, a tell, anything. But his face is the same carved stone calm it always is. Infuriating. Amber, I say, half a warning. She shrugs. What? Somebody has to test the merchandise. Make sure our new and improved Alpha isn't about to sell us all for parts. Gray finally looks at her. Steady and cold. If I wanted you dead, you wouldn't have time for questions. Amber bursts out laughing. God, I almost like him. Almost. She kicks her boots out toward the fire and leans back. Fine. He passes. For now. I shake my head, tearing off another bite of bread. The crust scrapes my gums, but it's something. Gray sits across from me, too composed for someone running on exhaustion and danger. He unwraps a packet of jerky, rations it neat. Like every move is strategy. Our eyes meet. Without speaking, he slides a piece across the crate between us. My first instinct is to sneer, to say I don't need handouts. But my fingers move before my mouth catches up. I take it. We chew in silence. The fire crackles. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wails. It should be nothing. Just two men eating after a fight. But my chest tightens, and before I can stop myself, I breathe in. Just a little. The scent is there, woven into the smoke and sweat, cedar, iron, something steady. It shouldn't feel grounding, but it does. My instincts stir, warm and treacherous. I jerk my gaze down at the jerky, jaw tight. No. I don't want this. I don't want to need anyone, least of all him. Trust was what got me gutted the first time. Trust is a leash disguised as comfort. But my body isn't listening. It leans forward without permission. Ears pricked, like an echo of the old pack bond I swore I'd severed. I force a laugh, bitter. Don't get comfortable, Gray. Sharing food doesn't mean we're friends, or pack, or anything else you're probably dreaming of. I don't dream, he says evenly. Figures. I shove the last of the jerky into my mouth, chew hard enough to hurt. Amber hums from her corner, half asleep but listening. You two are exhausting. It's like watching Divorce Court, except you haven't even hooked up yet. I choke on the jerky. Gray's face doesn't change, but I swear I see the faintest twitch at his jaw. The fire pops, scattering sparks into the dark. I glare at the flames, furious. Not at her, not even at him, but at myself. At the way my instincts betrayed me again, reaching for what I swore I didn't need. Dependency is a trap, and I'm halfway in before I realize the teeth are already closed. The base is nothing fancy, an old brick building at the city's edge, reinforced with steel doors and bad tempers. It used to feel like home. Now it feels like a target painted in red. Inside, the air is thick with wolves, voices sharp, bodies tense, everyone pacing like caged dogs that smell smoke before the fire. Amber is hunched over a table covered in maps and half-burned notes, braid falling forward as she draws circles with a marker. Gray stands beside her, hands clasped behind his back, the picture of calm. I keep to the corner, chewing at my lip, because calm in places like this is just silence before the storm. It breaks fast. The steel door slams open. A handful of wolves stumble inside, breathing hard. With them, mercenaries, masked, weapons ready. Betrayal stinks sharper than blood. The first bullet shatters a lamp. Chaos floods the room. Amber shouts, diving for cover. Wolves scatter, claws half-shifted. Snarls ripping the air. The traitor steps forward, unmasked now, one of the betas, a guy named Lennox. I remember him as quiet, dependable. Now he's grinning like he just won the lottery. You were too slow, Lennox sneers. You never saw it coming. I don't think. My body moves. I launch at the nearest merc, fist cracking against jaw, knife slipping from his grip into my hand. Gray's already there, a wall of muscle and precision. He takes two down before their weapons fire twice more. Nick. Left. I pivot. My knife flashes, sinking into a shoulder before a blade can reach Amber. She gasps, pinned under a collapsing shelf. Wood splinters, sparks fly from broken wires. Amber. My chest seizes. Gray barrels forward, tossing a merc aside like trash. He braces the shelf, muscles straining, and I drag her out. She's coughing, face pale, but alive. You good? I bark. She smirks weakly through blood at her temple. Define good. Relief nearly drops me, but no time. More mercs pour in, smoke grenades clouding the air. Wolves choke and cough, but Gray and I keep moving. And damn it, we move perfectly. Back to back. Every strike a mirror. He blocks high, I sweep low. I kick one enemy into his grip, he breaks the arm and tosses the body toward me to finish. Our rhythm is seamless, sickeningly so. My instincts hum like a song I tried to forget. Lennox snarls across the room, waving his mercs. Kill them all! We push harder, fury feeding our limbs. One by one they fall. Some flee. By the time the smoke clears, the floor is littered with bodies and groans. The pack is bloodied but breathing. Amber leans against the wall, bruised, alive. Gray's chest heaves once, but his eyes are steady. He stares down Lennox, who's crawling backward, leg broken. Why? Gray demands, voice steel. Lennox spits blood. Because Rufus trained us all to be killers. You think loyalty survives that? I took the better offer. Gray moves to finish him. My hand shoots out, catching his arm. Wait. He glares at me, but I can't stop the words. Not anymore, he's right. The room freezes. Amber looks up, bloodied face paling more. I force air into my lungs. Rufus did train us that way. I know, because I carried out orders just like this. Clean kills, no traces. When the pack needed silence, I was the one who made it happen. The weight of confession crushes my chest. Wolves around us stare like I've just shifted into something else entirely. Gray's gaze pins me, sharp and unreadable. You, he says slowly. You were. The knife in the dark, I finish, voice raw. The reason our enemies disappeared. The reason others feared us. And I walked away before it swallowed me whole. Silence. The only sound is Amber's ragged breathing and the distant hum of city lights. Gray doesn't move. His eyes burn through me, and for the first time tonight I can't tell if we're allies or executioner and target. Amber breaks it, hoarse but firm. Then use it, Nick. Use what you know. Because if you don't, we're next. The fire crackles weakly in a barrel nearby, throwing shadows long and jagged across the blood-stained floor. And in those shadows, my past finally steps out where everyone can see it. The motel smells like mildew and secrets. Wallpaper peels like old scabs, the carpet crunches with things I don't want to name, and the buzzing neon outside blinks vacancy like a dare. It's the kind of place people come to disappear, or to do something they'll regret. We slam the door behind us, and it rattles like it might quit its job. Gray drops his bag on the floor, movements too calm. I pace, fists tight, chest full of words I've tried to swallow since Rufus's apartment, since the warehouse, since the traitor's grin. It detonates. You knew, I snap, spinning on him. You knew I had blood on my hands, and you still dragged me back. What's the plan, Gray? Keep me on a leash until I choke on my own guilt? His jaw flexes. I didn't know, not like that. But I suspected. And I still brought you because we don't survive without you. Don't twist it into some noble act, I spit. You didn't bring me back for me. You brought me back for your damn pack. His voice sharpens, cutting clean. You think I care about titles, about power? I care about keeping them alive. And whether you like it or not, you're the only one who can help me do that. I laugh, bitter and jagged. So I'm just a weapon, again. First Rufus, now you. He steps closer. Too close. No, Rufus used you. I don't. I bark a laugh, teeth bared. Bullshit. His eyes flash, the alpha weight behind them pressing at my skin. My instincts twitch, traitorous, eager to fall into step. Rage rises hotter. Stop looking at me like that. I shove him back. He doesn't budge. I left because I wouldn't be anyone's blade anymore. And now here I am, right back in the scabbard. Because you smiled your perfect little alpha smile. I didn't ask for your loyalty, Gray growls. Good, I snarl. Because you're not getting it. Silence slams down between us. My chest heaves. His does too, though he hides it better. The room hums with the weight of things unsaid, things neither of us can push down anymore. It shifts. The anger doesn't vanish. It twists, coils into something hotter. His eyes catch mine, dark with something not just fury. My pulse stutters. Instincts flipping like coins in a storm. My body moves before my mind can veto. I grab his shirt, drag him down and crash my mouth against his. It's not gentle. It's teeth. Heat. The scrape of survival against survival. He grips my arms, not to stop me but to anchor us both. We stagger back against the wall, plaster flaking around us. His growl vibrates into my mouth, and I answer with a bite. When we break for air, I shove him hard, chest to chest, words spilling sharp and ragged. Don't get it twisted. This isn't surrender. This isn't me crawling back into the pack. This is choice, he finishes, voice low, rough. Damn right. I push him toward the bed, my hands shaking with too much fury, too much need. And here are the rules, Gray. I'm not your prize. I'm not your toy. You want me? Fine. But you take me as I am, no leash, no chains, no pretending I'm something soft to guard. His gaze burns, steady as steel. Understood. I search his face, waiting for the lie. There isn't one. The fight bleeds into heat. Clothes hit the floor, fast, careless, like we're still in battle. His hands are rough but not cruel. Mine dig in, claiming space, setting boundaries even as we crash together. It's not romance. It's war turned inward. Bodies clashing where words failed. But under the fury is something steadier, something I can't name yet. When it's over, the neon buzz outside sounds like applause. We lie tangled in sweat and shadows, both of us too stubborn to call it peace. Gray's hand brushes mine, slow, tentative. I let it stay. Just this once, but my voice cuts the quiet, sharp to remind us both. This doesn't mean you own me, it means I chose. His eyes, heavy-lidded but alive. Meet mine. Good, because I don't want ownership. I want partnership. The word lingers, too dangerous, too tempting. I close my eyes, lungs burning. For the first time in years, the weight in my chest feels less like chains and more like something else. Something that might almost be freedom, if I let it. The warehouse looms ahead, windows shattered, steel ribs showing through concrete skin. It's the kind of place the city pretends doesn't exist. Perfect for betrayal. Inside, light leaks in through holes in the roof, slicing the dark into jagged patches. The air reeks of oil, dust and blood not yet spilled. Gray signals the pack forward, silent and sharp. Amber checks her rifle with a click, braid tucked under her collar, eyes burning. I keep to his flank, every sense screaming. Tonight ends it, one way or another. We breach. Gunfire greets us. Bullets spark off metal beams, ricochets singing the anthem of war. Wolves shift half-form, claws catching light, teeth flashing. Mercenaries swarm out of the shadows, masks and knives, chaos on two legs. And at their center, Lennox the traitor, leaning on a crutch but smiling wide. You came to finish it? Good. Saves me the trouble. His mercs charge. The world dissolves into noise and blood. Gray moves like a storm, cutting through lines, his presence anchoring everyone around him. I follow, body remembering before thought catches up. A merc lunges with a blade. I twist, knife flashing, his scream lost under the roar of gunfire. Another comes, pipe raised. Amber drops him with a clean shot. Left. Gray shouts. I spin, duck under a swing, slam my fist into a jaw, then drive my elbow back to crack another's ribs. Every move falls into rhythm, his and mine, the pack around us. For a moment, it's almost beautiful. Then, pain. A knife slips past my guard, slicing deep into my side. Hot fire blooms, blood soaking fast. I stagger, knees threatening to give. The merc raises his blade for the finish. Gray is there. He tears the attacker away, slamming him into a wall with a crack of bone. His hand presses hard to my wound, eyes blazing. Stay with me. I grit my teeth, vision sparking. Don't waste time. Finish it. He doesn't argue. He turns, fury in every line, and cuts a path through the mercs like they're paper. But I'm not down yet. I push off the wall, pain screaming, knife still in hand. Lennox limps toward the exit, barking orders. My vision tunnels, but I follow. He sees me, grins with blood on his teeth. Still standing? Rufus trained you better than I thought. Yeah, I rasp. And he trained me to end it. We clash. His crutch swings like a weapon. I duck. Drive my blade forward. It sinks home, deep. His grin shatters into shock, then silence as he crumples. My knees nearly go with him. Behind us, the fight slows. The mercs scatter without their leader, the pack pressing the advantage. Victory tastes like iron, but not all costs are paid. At the far end of the warehouse, Rufus stands against a line of mercs, still holding ground. He's old, hunched, but his eyes cut sharper than any blade. He moves faster than he should, striking, blocking, taking hits he shouldn't survive. Rufus. Gray roars, charging forward. Too late. The old alpha sees the opening, sees the merc raising a rifle toward Gray. He throws himself into the line of fire, claws tearing, body shielding. Shots crack. Rufus takes them all. The merc falls, dead. So does Rufus. I stumble toward him, side burning, blood blurring my sight. I kneel, catch his hand. His breath rattles, faint. But his eyes are clear, locked on mine. You carry secrets, he whispers. Not chains, knowledge. Use it. Don't bury it. His grip weakens. You're more than what we made you. Then he's gone. The warehouse is silent but for dripping blood and ragged breathing. The pack gathers, eyes wide, faces grim. Gray stands over Rufus's body, jaw tight, shoulders rigid, but the grief shows in the tremor of his hands. Amber wipes her cheek with the back of her hand, leaving a smear of dirt and tears. He chose it, she says quietly. He chose. I press my palm to the wound in my side, pain grounding me. Rufus's words echo like thunder in a hollow chest. Not chains, knowledge, more than what they made me. Gray looks at me. Just looks. And in his eyes I see not command but something heavier, trust, expectation and maybe faith. For the first time, I don't look away. The fight is over. The war isn't. But something has shifted in the ruins of this warehouse. Something that feels almost like beginning. The office smells of bleach and blood. Wolves scrub the floors, mop buckets red tinged no matter how many times they're changed. Papers are scattered, glass cracked, walls scarred from claws and bullets. It doesn't look like a headquarters. It looks like a survivor. We're all survivors. Amber leans against the edge of the big table, head wrapped in a bandage, braid still swinging defiantly. She gestures between Gray and me, eyes sparkling despite the bruises. So what's the deal now? We've got 2 alphas? Or 1 alpha with an omega accessory? Because honestly, I can't tell who's running this circus anymore. The room chuckles nervously. Wolves glance at me, then at Gray, then back at their hands. Funny, I say, dropping into a chair with a wince. My side still aches from the knife, bandages tight under my shirt. If I were in charge, the first thing I'd do is fire you. Amber smirks. See? He's already giving orders. Gray's gaze slides to me, calm but weighted. He doesn't correct her. He doesn't need to. Everyone in this room feels what happened in the warehouse. They saw it, him and me moving as one, back to back, blade to blade. And damn it, I felt it too. I clear my throat. Don't get any ideas. I'm not back. I'm not wearing a collar, or a title, or any of that pack ceremony nonsense. My voice sharpens. I left for a reason. That hasn't changed. The wolves shift uncomfortably. Gray doesn't flinch. But, I add, surprising even myself, I'm not walking away either. You want me here, fine. You get me as I am, not as what you want to shape me into. Amber whistles low. Translation, he's moving in, but not putting his name on the lease. Laughter breaks the tension, rippling around the room. Even bruised, even bloody, they laugh. For the first time it doesn't sound hollow. Gray steps forward, closing the space between us. His shadow stretches across the table, over maps and scars alike. His eyes lock on mine, unyielding but not cold. I didn't want you as mine, he says, voice steady enough to silence the room. But now I do. The words hang heavy, louder than the gunfire that tore through us hours ago. My chest tightens, instincts clawing against ribs. I smirk, bittersweet, because defiance is my only armor. Too late, Gray. I'm not yours. I choose for myself now. His mouth almost curves, the smallest crack in the granite. Then choose. I lean back, wincing as my stitches pull, but I hold his gaze. I already did. Amber groans, tossing her hands up. God, you two are exhausting. Just kiss or kill each other already. Nobody laughs this time, because they all know it's not a joke. It's the truth. The pack looks at us differently now. Not alpha in exile, not leader in weapon. Something else. Something they don't have words for yet. I don't either. But for the first time in years, I don't feel like I'm standing outside the fire. I feel like maybe, just maybe, I'm part of it again. On my own terms. The rooftop is quiet, except for the hum of the waking city. Dawn drags its colors slow across the skyline, pale gold bleeding into gray. Shadows pulling back like retreating tide. The air is cool, sharp, carrying the smell of asphalt, smoke, and new beginnings. I lean against the ledge, stitches tugging when I breathe too deep. Below, the pack is already stirring, voices faint, laughter fragile but real. They survived. We survived. For once, that's enough. The door creaks behind me. I don't have to look to know who it is. His presence rolls out like gravity, steady, unavoidable. Gray steps up beside me, silent, watching the same horizon. His coat brushes against my arm, deliberate or not, I can't tell. Not bad, I say, gesturing at the sunrise. City almost looks clean if you squint. He glances at me, unreadable as always. You don't strike me as the sentimental type. Don't spread it around, I mutter. Ruins my reputation. We stand in silence a beat too long. My instincts shift under my skin, restless. For years I shoved them down, gagged them, starved them. But right now, with him here, they don't claw as hard. I draw a breath, let the air fill deep, and before I can talk myself out of it, I tilt slightly toward him. My scent brushes his. A tiny crack in armor, but enough. His eyes flick to me, sharp with surprise, then soften, just a fraction. He doesn't move closer, doesn't press. He just lets it happen. And that, strangely, is worse. Because it feels like choice, not command. I huff a laugh, more nerves than humor. Don't get used to it. My mouth still doesn't shut. I noticed, he says, low, and the ghost of a smile almost breaks through. I turn fully, leaning one elbow on the ledge, staring him down. Listen. My past? It's mine. My scars, my mistakes, my noise. I don't promise obedience. I don't promise peace. Hell, half the time I'll make you want to throw me off this roof. He waits, patient as stone. But, I add, voice steadying. I will promise one thing. My mouth might never close, but for you, I'll keep my word, I'll be here. His gaze holds mine, unflinching. Something like relief flickers in it, though he'd never admit it out loud. That's enough, he says. Good, I mutter, smirking. Because it's all you're getting. The sun climbs higher, painting the city gold. Down below, Amber yells something obscene at someone, laughter following. Life, messy and loud, refuses to stop. Gray stands beside me, not touching, not claiming, just there. And for the first time in too long, it feels less like chains and more like freedom. I tip my head back, let the sunrise burn my eyes and grin. Guess the world's stuck with us now. And for once, the thought doesn't feel like a curse.